What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Lockdown 23-1. And today we're going to be talking about cellmates in prison, all right? Not your average cellmate that's in there for grand theft auto or credit card fraud. We're going to be talking about the individuals that are doing 20 years to life for murder, all right? I have had the opportunity within the 8 years of my incarceration, whether it was in jail or prison, to live with a couple murderers, 2 to be exact. And believe it or not, even though this is a pretty serious topic, I got some funny ass stories to go with it. I meant to tell one yesterday because it went along the lines of yesterday's video, but I forgot. All right, I forgot. I got horrible short-term memory loss. But anyways, you know, a lot of people have been to prison, okay? But a lot of people have not had the opportunity to live with someone that's in there for killing someone, all right? And these guys I'm going to be telling you about, one of the guys, I can't remember his damn name. I remember exactly what the cell looks like and everything and what he looked like, but I do not remember the guy's name for nothing. And the other guy, his name was Asia, all right? This Asian guy, everyone called Asia, believe it or not. He was in there for killing someone in prison. But anyways, you know, living with someone that has a murder charge. Look, when you first step into a cell, and you know, both of these individuals, I was assigned to their cells, okay? I didn't pick and choose which cell to go into when I first went to prison. They assigned me, okay? The first cellmate I had in this one prison, his name was Asia. He was an Asian cat, and it was very strange with him, okay? Because he's older. He's older, and, you know, these guys in prison that have done a lot of time, you can tell. You know, I couldn't tell right off the bat when I first got there, but sooner or later, after about 7-8 months, you can distinguish between the inmates that have been there for a long damn time, especially by looking at their cell, all right? A lot of these dudes that have served a lot of time in prison, their cells have a certain vibe to them, all right? They got all kinds of little knickknacks that they've gathered within the 20 years that they've been there. And they're very state-struck, man. They like to have everything in order. I mean, every person that I've met that has done 20 years in prison straight has had the neatest and most, I don't know how, it's like obsessive-compulsive disorder cell. You know, you just see it. Everything is in place. But anyways, this Asian cat, let's start off with him, man. He was in there for killing someone in prison. All right, he showed me the pictures of his sword that he used. I called it samurai sword, but he was affiliated with this Asian gang back in the early 90s. All right, they didn't have any Asian gangs when I was in there. But anyways, he was telling me the story, and a riot popped off, and he ended up stabbing someone, all right, with a big-ass sword. And he showed me the damn picture of this sword. Man, I couldn't believe it, you know. But he got 20-some years added to his sentence. He was old, man. He was about pushing 60. But this Asian dude, man, he showed me how to make some pretty good dishes, you know. Some of them were just absolutely disgusting. I'm like, man, what the hell is that? But look, I didn't even know this guy had murder at first, all right? You know how, and both of these stories have one thing in common, all right? And they both opened up the opportunity for me to get to know the killer a little better. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Now, check it out. I didn't get to know this guy really. We for the first, I'd say, month, we just had the common, you know, respect each other's stuff and like that. Don't bring a bunch of crazy people in the cell. You know, this is our hut. Let's keep it our hut type stuff. He had, you know, these guys had structure and they did have rules. And I was a young cat, man. I was young as hell, so they laid down the rules, you know, but they were respectful. They weren't trying to pressure me or bully me into following the rules, you know. As a matter of fact, I broke the rules one time, and me and my homeboy were wrestling in the cell and broke dude's TV. I told that story before. I broke dude's TV, man. I was like, man, look, that was the first time I told my dad, I said, look, man, I called my dad. I said, hey, man, look, you guys send me some bread. I just broke this dude's freaking TV, man, and, you know, he's a damn killer for real. He's a killer, man. You need to send me some loot. But anyways, this dude had structure. All right, and we were getting along just fine, you know, but we weren't clicking. We weren't clicking like compadres or nothing until one day. This particular day brought us together dramatically as a bond, as a unit, as cellmates, all right? And that is Reefer. gonna lie to y'all, man. It was Reefer that caused us to really bond, that caused us to open up to each other. I mean, the things that we talked about. Look, keep in mind, dude's name was Asia, all right? He was Asian cat. All right? I can't remember. I think he was Korean, to tell you the truth. I can't really remember, but I remember him teaching me. Look, this is all after and during smoking weed in prison. All right. Once we first roll up that first J, and you can always tell an old cat smoking weed, man. He has different techniques. He'll smoke a J, and then the smoke that comes off of the cherry of the J after he hits, he'll go. And he'll get every last bit of smoke, and he will hold it in. In prison, you gotta hold that smoke in because the amount of weed in these little J's, little pinner J's, ain't shit. So you're like, you hold that crap in until there ain't nothing coming out of your lungs. I mean, when you exhale, there's nothing, no smoke whatsoever. This old head, man, he got it in, all right? And he would sniff up the secondhand smoke that came off the cherry. Never forget that. And my uncle used to do that as well. I don't know what it is, some kind of old school joint, I don't know. But anyways, this dude, man, after we smoked, we opened up to each other, and it wasn't awkward at all. I told him, I said, look, I got a little weed, you smoke? And sure enough, he did. He said, yeah. We put the towels in the damn cell, put the pillow in the window, we were good to go, man. We were blazing, and we connected for the first time 100% in our lives. And man, the stuff we talked about when we got high, man, it was crazy. I'll never forget the first conversation we had, and it was about how we were talking about him, okay, and his heritage, whatever, where he came from. But anyways, we started talking about martial arts and stuff like that, and believe it or not, he always had this little thing that he did out in the yard early in the morning, like this yoga, kung fu type thing. For real, this dude was legit, and somehow it led to talking about how can you distinguish between if someone's Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese, and he went on to tell me that it's all in the face and eye shape. I was like, damn, He was telling me how to distinguish. I'm not going to break it down because I honestly cannot remember, but that's what we were talking about. We were bonding, man. I was learning so much. He was teaching me different words in his language, and it was just a good time after we realized that we smoked weed and we could bond like that. And every day, man, just about, I would bring back a J, and every night we would put that damn towel in the bottom of the cell, pop on the fan, open up this little window that we had. It unscrewed about this much. Let's say this is the window. And the knob was out here, you would unscrew it, and it would just lift up like that. And you would have this much space, right here, of air coming in, and right here is a big metal mesh, so you can't like stick your hand out of it or anything, but that's where we hung our incense that were burning, and that's where we blew our smoke out of. We would have fans hanging from the bunks blowing straight out that window. So that was our setup every night, man. I would bring back a J, and those nights that I couldn't get a J or whatever the case was, man, it was a boring night, but we worked together. He would bring some every once in a while as well, But yeah, we would do that every night, and we would sit there, chill, and bond until I decided to move my cell to someone else's cell. Okay, it was just a younger cat. He blazed, and we just connected a little bit better. And I could tell, in prison, man, if you are connecting with your cellmate and the cellmate has life, he doesn't really like it that you're going to leave for no damn reason. He ain't causing no kind of a drama with you or anything, but you can sense that he's like, man, why I just opened up to this guy for 7 months, smoked weed with him. He knows my routine. This is what the lifer's saying. He knows my routine, and I opened up to him, and now he's moving his cell just 5 cells down. It's kind of disrespectful. They take it kind of disrespectfully, like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. But anyways, I could sense that he was acting like it was okay, everything's good, but I could just sense some kind of hostility because I moved. But anyways, I moved without a problem, and we got along after that. I still stop by his cell every morning. But look, when you're doing life, you don't want to constantly have new guys come in and wonder if they're going to be in and out, and if they're going to get a shit-ass cellmate, So, we were still friends. I would like to consider ourselves friends, but I just moved, all right? Now, the next guy, he was in a different unit. I ended up leaving that unit. I can't remember what for. Man, I got into so much bullshit and drama and trouble. I can't remember sometimes what the hell I got moved for. But anyways, I got moved, and I got moved into another cellmate that had life. Okay, and I didn't know. As always, you don't know what the person's in there for until you get to know each other and start opening it up a little bit. But anyways, this guy was a younger guy. He was older than me. He was like 28. I'd say 28. And I'm 18 years old, about to be 19. So naturally, that guy is older than me, and by about 10 years. So I'm going to listen to what he has to say and respect him as an elder. I just did that regardless. Even if they weren't older than me, man, I still respected people. But anyways, I went to this dude's cell. It was a light-skinned cat, and this is a guy, I can't remember his name for nothing. But this dude was a light-skinned cat, and he had these black frame glasses, the standard penitentiary glasses. And he had, I'll never forget, man, this guy had one hell of a setup, okay? He had tape decks. That's how you know someone's been in there for a long time, okay? Whether either it's the pictures on the wall that he might have, looks like they're faded and from the 80s, okay? Damn people, his family members that sent him photos still got freaking Jerry curls and shit. He's been in there for a minute, you know what I mean? But anyways, he also had these tape decks. Tape decks that were sold in prison. Tape players were sold in prison back in the day. I don't even know if they still sell them anymore, tape players. But anyways, he had a whole rows and rows of tape decks, okay, of nothing but rappers. He liked to listen to rap music. And I was just looking through them one day, and I saw some badass damn tape decks I wanted to listen to, okay? But I didn't know the guy, okay? He wasn't inside the cell. When he left the cell, man, I always used to be like, damn, look at all his little stuff. Not go into his property, but I would look at all the stuff he has on the desk, whatever. I'd look at all his tape players. He had CDs, tape decks. He had all kinds of stuff, man. But in prison, when you see stuff perfectly aligned like that, the way he had everything assorted perfectly, his toothbrush, everything. Look, when people have done a lot of time, they tend to sort their stuff a certain way to make sure no one touches it. Okay, they'll booby trap their shit. They will set it up at a certain degree angle so that they can tell when they come back if you touched their hygiene or whatever the case is. They have tricks like that. And I already started to realize all this. Even though I was fresh into the prison scene, I started to realize, listen, and learn. Even in jail, you would learn a little bit about this type of stuff. But anyways, I'm smoking weed still. I found the weed dude in the block that I'm in now. And I'm steady smoking weed. And I wasn't smoking weed in the cell unless he was gone, because I didn't know if he, went that way. At first, I thought he was a Muslim, too. That's another thing. He had all these Muslim praying oils, okay? And but he didn't have no praying rug, whatever you call them things that they kneel down on. I didn't see none of that. Usually a Muslim will have that with them 24/7. It'll be hanging in a cell or whatever the case is. He's constantly taking it with him to go pray, like 3 times a day. Okay, but I didn't see that. But I did see a lot of Muslim praying oil, and this guy, he wore his state t-shirt buckled up all the way up. No tattoos for real at all. It had it buckled up all the way. He didn't have no gang tattoos. So I thought naturally, Muslims, they like to button their stuff all the way up proper, their stuff always crisp and ironed. The majority of individuals that practice that religion, that's just how they roll. But like I was saying, I still smoke weed. And every time he left the cell to go to class or something, because he always went to class, I would smoke my J, which sucked because I like to smoke it at night and relax. And finally, well, first off, he had a tape that I wanted to listen to. No, I didn't have a tape player, but I was setting it all up, I got a tape player from someone in there, and when he would leave the cell, I would start listening to his freaking tape decks, and I had to do it very carefully because I didn't want him noticing that I was touching all his damn shit. And that was another risk, man. I didn't know if this dude would come back early, but I had the pillow in the door, and the door pretty much locked with this little piece of wood I would jam in there in case someone wanted to come in. If they pressed a button, they ain't opening it. It ain't opening unless I take that block of wood out, all right? So I was a little worried that he could come home early, but at the same time, I would have enough time to hide down listening to his tapes and stuff like that, And that's another thing. I used to use his praying oil stuff. I used to put it on before a VI. He would never know, boy. I tell you what, but I was grimy. That was another grimy thing I used to do in prison. But anyway, Look, I didn't do that all the time now, all right? It was just in the wide open. I said, screw it, you know? But anyways, I keep veering off, all right? I light up the J. He's at school. I light up the J. I'm chilling. Got my headphones on, listening to his tapes. And all of a sudden, I slip. I slip and I fall into all of his stuff. The J comes out my mouth. J and ash fly all over his white cloth. He had this white, like, towel cloth underneath his tapes. You know, so they don't get dusty or something. You know, I just completely destroyed the whole damn thing. I tried to fix it the best way I can, but I mean, it was all out of order, and there was ashes all over. I tried dusting it off and it just smeared on his white cloth. I'm like, shit, you know what I mean? So I'm like, damn, I'm just gonna have to open up to him, tell him straight up what happened, man. You know. So he comes back, and I said, look, before you start noticing some stuff, I just want to tell you straight up, man. Look. I was smoking some weed in the cell. And if a guy's going to get mad at you for smoking weed, he's petty as hell. I didn't think he would. He was a younger guy. But I didn't know, you know. And he was in there for life. And I didn't know that either until after this. But look, I tell him, I said, look, man, I was smoking a J, man, and I slipped. I got a little high, I slipped, and I knocked over your stuff, man. I tried fixing it the best way I can. I got some ashes on this thing, man. I apologize, bro. You know, if you need the stuff to be washed, I can pay someone right now to go wash that stuff immediately and have it wash and dry for you tonight. You know, that's just out of respect, not out of fear. And you know, this guy didn't care anything about it. He didn't care, man. He was easygoing. As a matter of fact, he jumped straight to one topic, and that one topic kind of cleared the air for both of us, and that's weed. He said, damn, bro, I smoke too, man. Why don't you, let's start throwing down, man. Smoke some big ones. I said, whew. Well, hello there, my new cellmate. I said, shit, boy, we are about to have some fun now. We just opened up the floodgates, you know? So our routine turned into the routine that I had with Asia. And the same exact way that Asia came out to the open with me about his murder charge in prison is the same exact way Homeboy came about opening up and telling me why he was in prison for murder. You know, he didn't tell me exactly detail for detail like Asia did, but dude was in there for murder and he wasn't going home. But even though these are positive ending stories, just keep in mind, man, living with someone that has life, you gotta act and conduct yourself totally different, especially if they're in there for life for killing someone while in prison, because you know they could very well possibly kill again, you know? And it's strange, you just sit here and look back when I was 18 years old living with killers. It's very strange. I wasn't scared at all, believe it or not. You know, after they told me, I was high as shit. So I was high as gas off that weed every time they told me. But at the same time, I didn't have no kind of fear at all. You know, my mind wandered sometimes and say, you know what, could this guy, you know, possibly be feeling some type of way today, you know, but it always ended up with, nah, this guy's cool, man. He just happened to get hit up with a murder charge, you know. But don't take these stories as a learning lesson, to tell you the truth. These are just stories that I went through. Most people that get involved with some cats that have life, they end up getting killed in their cell by them, man. I've told many stories on here about how two cellmates had life and one ended up killing other. You know, they just have, you know, they have some severe mood swings, I can tell you that. Yeah, living with these cats, even though we were cool, they had some mood swings, man. I've told stories about playing Sorry with people that had life. I'm going home in like 2 more years, and I'm sitting there playing the board game Sorry with like people that ain't never going home, all right? And I'll never forget, man. You know, I wasn't thinking about how funny and crazy it sounded until after I got out of prison, but man, every time you would hit this, you know, on Sorry, you can land on the dot and you can slide. And you can knock whoever's in, you know, in your way off and they have to go back to start. I never forget these two dudes had life, boy. I said, sorry. They went back to home base, boy. They were mad as hell. And they had life, man. I mean, just picture that. You just caused these grown-ass men in the penitentiary, high-level prison that's doing life in there to go back to start in the board game Sorry. I mean, I wouldn't call it ironic, but it's just the crazy-ass shit, man. People would more than likely picture killers like that to be on some other shit, but that's just, you know, and sometimes they are. Sometimes they are, you know, but Fortunately for me, I had some pretty good situations with them, man. They were good guys. But like I said, this is really not an informative video. You probably didn't get too much from it except for a couple giggles here and there. It's just stories of me living with lifers. Alright, so do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Please hit that like button, the thumbs up for me. It helps the channel out. And check out all the links in the description of the video. Add me up on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. Go check out my Teespring page with all your merchandise. Lockdown 23-in-1 merchandise. And as always, I salute to every last one of you who've been supporting me since the beginning. And everyone who's just now joining the Lockdown compound. Y'all be easy and be safe out there.